It was a beautiful anchorage. Looks like big bird. But they're everywhere. You had to watch out where you were stepping. You wouldn't step on the eggs. And there's the sharks. But they were fascinating. You know, I'd be down swimming under doing the bottom, and they'd come by and check you out. They weren't too scared. I had a lathe on board, so I had a nice little workshop. That was the advantage of having a big boat. So I was able to make things, and it came in handy making repairs and making parts for other cruisers. Yeah. Now woke up one morning. It looks rather close to have a boat anchored this close to you, and it was. Because this is one of the things you have to watch out for with the changing winds. Normally we're anchored a little farther apart, but what happens is that as the wind shifts, your anchor chain gets caught around a coral head, and now all of a sudden you might find yourself with a shorter scope. And so that's what happened to one of us here. So in the morning we woke up and looking into their pilot house window, and we were actually closer than that at times. So you do have to watch out, because normally you got the normal scope, everybody swings evenly, but now you suddenly get wrapped around. And that's a big thing. Sometimes you spend a bit of time getting yourself unwrapped around the coral heads.
How do you get unwrapped? Move the boat around?
You gotta move the boat. You gotta look, and you know, we actually had one of those viewers, you know, somebody would dive down and look, and you just sort of direct, okay, you gotta do a counterclockwise 2 circles, or whatever the case may be, if you couldn't actually dive down. You certainly get good at diving and going for things that you lose overboard. Clear water. Like I found that when I started, 10 to 15 feet was all I could do. In fact, I was having problems in Hawaii even getting down to 12 feet because I had blocked ears. By the time I got reached to Tonga, I was able to go down to 40 feet. But nothing compared to what the locals could do. And they would go down there when we were spearfishing down in the pass in Fanning, and we would just sort of hang out in the bottom like it was nothing and stay down there for minutes. Their ability was just phenomenal. Just doing laundry. You do lots of laundry, getting water from the well. And then off we went to Western Samoa, pretty well straight across. We decided to bypass American Samoa. And that was an example of a passage where we left at the same time as a few other cruisers there, and the winds were, it was kind of rough. We were talking to everybody on the radio, and they were saying, oh, what miserable time they're having, they're getting pounded, and here we were having one of the best sails we'd had. And part of it was the boat. It's just having a larger, heavy boat. We needed wind, so when we got it, we were quite happy. We had a dolphin on the bowsprit. When we bought the boat, we bought the dolphin. We fell in love with the dolphin. It happened to come with a free boat. We paid a lot of money for the dolphin, though. Oh yeah, this is in Apia for customs. We're rafted up to deal through customs. And this is a bit of a story here. This is part of what happened with our customs paperwork from Suva. They came aboard, everybody was very friendly, and I can't remember the whole sequence of the events, but they looked at our paperwork, and it was somewhat strange because we had our departure papers from Fanning Island showing going to Penryn Island. And now they're looking at, well, there's nothing from Penryn, and there's something here from the Cook Islands, which wasn't on this, and the paperwork didn't look quite right. You know, it was kind of hokey looking, I guess. I don't know what it was, but they were a little suspicious. So they decided, well, we're just going to check things out. And there's a few boats that we decided to check. They've been having problems with people coming from places that they didn't say they were coming from, and so on and so forth. So they called us up on the radio, asked us to raft up alongside, and then we get a bunch of guys come on board, and we got a little nervous when they pulled out the rubber gloves, and they started going around the boat and dusting for things. And so what do they do? Well, we're just checking for drugs. And the young guys were pretty nice too. And they said, we won't do your medicine cabinet sort of thing. Or I think it was afterwards.
So yeah, they said, well, when they first come on, they all take off their shoes. They're really, really nice. And they say, oh, this is just, this is just natural story, actually, you said Dustin about it. And I said, don't worry, we didn't do the medicine cabinet in the bathroom because that always sets everything out. But all of our pharmaceutical supplies were in the closet, because there was a lot of them. And so, of course, we set off alarms. And then we spent the next 3 days, I think it was, not allowed ashore. And you have to remember, we've gone from Fannin Island to Suvarov. We've seen no store, we have no propane left, and there's an ice cream shop just over there. And we set off bells for methamphetamines, and at that point I didn't know what methamphetamines were, because we hadn't heard of all this pee and everything else. And so that's what we were being held for, and it looked like we could lose the boat and everything else, and so we're scrambling on what set it off, and it was the Riboxicil, the muscle relaxant, has some ingredient in there that set things off, so we did get it pretty often.
Yeah, we did get a little nervous there for a while, because it had been 3 days, and we didn't know what was going on. We'd been talking to other cruisers on the radio, trying to get ideas what it might be, and went in to talk to them, and well, we think it might be this, and they weren't telling us much, and finally I said, this is enough. So I went ashore with the idea I was going to go talk to the customs people, and if I don't have any luck, I'm going straight to the Australian embassy, because they were the ones that we didn't have a Canadian embassy there. And so I went and talked to the guy. I says, well, what's going on here? And the guy's in behind the desk, the customs guy, and it's just in this very Samoan way. He's just sort of very stoic looking, just sort of looking at me. I says, well, did you find out anything? Can we go? And he just sort of looks at me. Yeah. And that was it.
That's right.
But there were wonderful people there too. We sort of enjoyed it after that little initial incident there. Part of the problem was that we were having the Pacific Leaders Summit, and so the security was extra tight. This is up at by Lima. This is Robert Louis Stevenson's. Well, that was his estate, his house there, and this is his grave up on the hill. The famous poem. Yeah, the buses. The buses in Samoa are amazing. They're colorful, they blare loud music, and they drive crazy. This is, we walked to a village, and this is going on the road, and just stopped. He was cutting coconut, and we stopped and climbed the coconut tree for us to give us something to drink, because it was a hot day, and we're a long ways from the village. We'd met a fellow in town, and he invited us to come out to the village, so we he sort of told us where it was, and on a whim we decided, well, let's go. And we did, and we showed up, and they were very welcoming. And we stayed overnight, they toured us around. They're carvers, and the whole village is carvers, and they bring their stuff into Mafia. And so they kind of work as a cooperative, the whole village, carving different wood things. You'll see them here. The bowls, and at the end, after we left, we had a gift exchange. We brought them things, and they gave us a whole bunch of gifts as well. We slept in the folly. They, for our visit, they grabbed a chicken and slaughtered it for us for our dinner. And very kind people. This is the old chief, and you can see they actually introduced us when you see his tattoos. It's a beautiful country in Samoa.
This is, I say, must-haves for the tropic is the wind scoop. See that one's kind of rowdy. It's one that I made because our other one wore out in the tropical sun, and we were without a wind scoop for I think 2 days, and we thought we were going to die. So it's